Well, for more than 2 decades, coroner's inquests have looked at how police deal with the mentally ill. Well, today the inquest is looking into 3 recent deaths, heard from the man who spent much of his career figuring out the best training for officers. Stephen D'Souza is joining us now from the coroner's courts. And Stephen, what did we learn from that inquest today?
Well, the trainer told the inquest today that when he first started his work back in the early 90s, there was very little material to draw from. But now he says Ontario is one of the leaders when it comes to police training and dealing with the mentally ill. But he says even with all of the work and all of the training, in the heat of the moment, anything can happen. Ron Hoffman wrote the book on police training and mental health issues. He says there's no hard science when it comes to calming down a situation. You've got to train officers to think this is not just another call. He took the inquest through the field guide for officers he helped develop. It lists strategies for dealing with everything from depression to delusions, such as backing away or calling for tactical support. But when the suspect is approaching with a weapon and there's an imminent threat, as was the situation in the 3 cases at this inquest, it appears those rules take a back seat. When pressed by lawyers as to why officers don't handle situations better, Hoffman countered, "You're talking about de-escalation as if there's some hard science out there that says de-escalation involves X number of strategies. We don't know." He called for standardized training across Canada. And when lawyers asked if more training was the answer, he said he doesn't know if it would translate to better outcomes on the front lines. Previous inquests have suggested mobile crisis units as a solution. An officer paired with a mental health worker and psychiatric nurse. 12 divisions in Toronto have them. But Hoffman told the inquest they're not suited to deal with violent cases and are very costly. When questioned by the sister of victim Sylvia Klibengaitis, Hoffman told Anita Wasowitz that sometimes police shouldn't be the ones dealing with people in crisis. The needs are not being met somewhere, but I suggest it's not always a police problem, it may be a healthcare problem. Now, next week, the inquest is going to start hearing specific evidence on the 3 cases that it is covering, including what's expected to be very dramatic 911 calls, which will give the jury a very clear example of just how difficult and unpredictable those situations can be. Reporting live from the coroner's courts, I'm Stephen D'Souza.
Thank you, Stephen.